feel the twitch in my veins. Carbon fiber blood stain. Telemetry screaming, I'm not just a driver, I'm a weapon. Grip the wheel like a vice. Every apex sacrifice. Brake late, dive deep. I see your fear, it's mine to keep. Burn it down, build the crown. This league don't play, we tear it out. Throttle pulse, no remorse. We race to break the course. lights out. Feel the twitch in my veins. Carbon fiber blood stain. Telemetry screaming, I'm not just a driver, I'm a weapon. Grip the wheel like a vice. Every apex sacrifice. Brake late, dive deep. I see your fear, it's mine to keep. Burn it down, build the crown. This league don't play, we tear it out. Throttle pulse, no remorse. We race to break the course.
Welcome to Silverstone. This ground here is rich with history, a former airfield that served in the Second World War and now hosts one of the oldest and most iconic races in motorsports. It's the Formula One British Grand Prix. Straddling the border of Northamptonshire and Buckinghamshire, the 18 corners of Silverstone Circuit form the 3.6-mile beating heart of Formula One. It's been reinvented over the years, with Turn 1 now the fast right-hander of Abbey, but the magic of racing is as strong here as it's ever been.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to RMPT F1 on Twitch. Here we are at Silverstone with a sprint weekend. Kind of two races going on tonight. So we got sprint. It's going to be a short quali for both, so a bit of an extended evening. And I'm here in the comms box with Tyrone. How you doing tonight, man?
Fantastic as always, mate. Cannot wait for this one. You know, two for the price of one sort of deal. You know, I love a good bargain, so I'm always happy to be here.
Are you going to hit us with some girl maths and say it was, you get saved like $20 by spending 50?
Mate, it's simple. If I have to spend an extra $1 to get two of something that I was only going to spend $4 on, I'm only spending $1 extra. That's some good deal math for you.
There it is.
All right? I'm making money.
Perfect. That's what it's all about. So not quite a full grid tonight. We had a couple people pull out, but 18 out of 20 ain't too bad. We're just over the halfway point. We're on the downward slope heading into the season finale towards Spa, 100%. Next week we're at Coda, so it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out. Now, Sprinter Giggles is kind of, I don't want to say he's running away with it, but he's been on the podium 3 races in a row, and he's probably the strongest contender out front.
Yeah, absolutely. He's looked comfortable every race, really. There's never been a race where he's been really out of his depth. The only, I suppose, mark on his record is that Brazil race where he was just outdone by a classy race from F7. But look, it's going to take a lot to knock him off his perch coming into the end of the season, but there's still plenty of racing to go, especially with the sprint, with the 100%er at the last round. There's plenty of points on the table. It's not over till the fat lady sings, as they say. So, yes, he can sit up the top thinking he's comfortable, but all it takes is one slip up, really. So, he's got to stay focused.
Yeah, he does need to stay focused. Shout out to chat. We got Janino in there. Would you say Giggles is sprinting away with it? No, I wouldn't say he's sprinting away with it. All it takes is one mistake in the race, and that could see him tumble down. Like, that's the thing about, like, the point system that, some people like, some people don't like, that we're using here this season. It can kind of be sniped away at the last minute.
Absolutely. So I was just looking at the standings. He's on 72 points. He's got a 12-point lead over F7, 14 to Zonix, and it's pretty close then only another 1 point below that is Mozza. 1 DNF here, plenty of points on offer between the sprint and the feature. You got 40 points on offer here this weekend. So, one slip up here in the feature or even the sprint, there's 15 points he's not going to be scoring. So it's not going to take much, but he's just got to make sure he keeps plugging on.
That's it. It's about persevering and trying to bring home as many points as you can safely. Not doing that DNF. DNF will see it cost you quite a bit. But
Absolutely,
we got 2 qualies. I'm kind of hoping for a rainy race, hey? Not gonna lie.
Yeah, absolutely. The practice race on Monday was a blast in the rain.
I don't know if it was a blast, but it was fun.
I had a blast, even though I had some early incidents which threw me off my my horse, if you will. My sprint race was good fun, but look, it's all I thoroughly enjoy the wet racing in this game. It's not perfect, don't get me wrong. It's definitely not like real wet weather racing, but I do find it levels the playing field a bit. It throws in a spanner that maybe not everyone's ready for, especially setup wise, and it just shows how well drivers can adapt what they've got underneath them to the conditions.
Yeah, it definitely separates the field as far as skill goes. So just on board with Ranieri. It looks like he's on hot lap. He said a purple sector 1, purple sector 2. It's still early days here in quali, but let's see what the Aston Martin driver does. Did Santa yaw that sleigh home correctly today?
He's been quietly confident, has runners. 27.6. Probably a little bit off what he was aiming for. But no doubt he'll be pushing pretty hard on the second run. But again, medium tyres, only really going to be out here for one stint. Yeah, 27 flat from Sprinter. So, that's pretty good on the medium tyres. That's where I was sort of thinking would be. But you never know. Look, a high 26 could be on the cards here.
Yeah, I think high 26. Like, we got a few people out on the softs. So, it'd be interesting to see how they go. There it is. Whiff.
Yeah.
Now, Whiff was kind of talking last week that he wants to end the kick domination in Div 1. He struggled with it last week, although they did really well. But so far, looking pretty good. As Jackal just sets the fastest time at a 1:26.5. But he is on those softs. So Are we going to see a return to track by Sprinter Giggles?
Yeah, I think it's, I don't want to call it a mistake from Jackal going out in the softs early while the track's still green. But he isn't going to have those soft tyres now to push when the track is at its best on the second run. So Sprinter Giggles and those who have been out on the mediums on their first run is at the advantage at the moment. But, you've still got to put the lap together. So the pressure is on. He's done his lap. He's done. He's put his best foot forward now. He said, this is what I've got. He might have another run on those softs if he's feeling it. But I'd imagine that's probably his best time done and dusted.
Yeah, really interesting. He just drove off track on purpose to take out a sign. It's not really.
I'm not sure if it was taking a sign or get out of the way. So,
DHL had his name on it.
Maybe he's not a fan of what DHL does.
Look,
I don't know. Maybe
to be honest. So.
Yep. There's a bit of beef going on between the Aston driver and DHL potentially, but each to their own. I'm just jumping on board here with F7 as he's coming into Maggots and Beckett's. He's another one to look out for. He's a race winner here, of course, in Brazil after a fantastic drive as he throws it through the swooping S section. He is on those medium tyres. He'll be looking to be up there. His main rival here is Sprinter. He knows that. We all know that. That's his benchmark. So if he can put it into that sort of realm, he'll be in a good spot. As he powers it down now the back straight as he goes into one of the main corners. A lot of time to find through there if you get it right, but it's very easy to run wide. Does so well, though. Keeps it tucked into the limits. Throwing the anchors down there to a 100-metre board and tucking it through this tricky section. Very easy to lose the rear if you get the throttle application wrong. Got to be careful on the curbs. Look to be pretty tight here. 27.091. So, yep, he's in that realm. He's where he needs to be. But, again, that Sauber domination, as you say, it's not gone. It's definitely not as prominent, but it's definitely still threatening.
Yeah, well, right now the Saubers are P4, P5, looking pretty strong. Even if it were the quality to end right now, it's still a good, solid starting spot for them. With only a few people in front, Jacko Marzi quietly snuck in there with a 1:26.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Like I missed that one.
Yep.
And then Whiff in P3. But we do have, a new to the league driver, two new to league drivers starting tonight. So they're not new to league racing at all, but they're new to RMPT. In Dynasty Sparrow and Scotty793. So shout out to those guys. Getting ready to throw down tonight for the first time this season for us. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do. So Dynasty's in the RB. Might be looking for a full-time seat. That's the buzz. That's what I've heard.
The rumor of the paddock.
That's
rumor of
the
the paddock.
I don't know about Scotty yet, but I have heard that Dynasty might be on the hunt for one. But
Look,
we'll have to wait and see if that is true. I'll talk to him maybe after the race and see what's up. But
absolutely, and I've seen plenty of Scotty racing, and he has the potential to be really threatening the top guys here. If he puts his stuff together and he's on one, he can really threaten these top guys, which is good. Good competition, healthy competition at the front, making sure, egos are checked, heads are kept screwed on tight. So, but again, I haven't seen him for probably a couple months now. So, but I'm intrigued to see what he goes. And the same with Dynasty. I've never seen Dynasty race myself, but sitting currently in P8 with a handy lap of a 27.1, he's right on the pace. And it's really, really close in the mid pack. Those guys who run the mediums, from Marzi down to sort of Spud Muff and Fish, you've only got 3.5 tenths, 4 tenths.
Yeah, it is looking to be a pretty tight race here in Silverstone. So, but back on the Scotty tip, Scotty and Zonix, no laps set yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they invalidated. I'm just having a look now. I'm not entirely sure what's going. Maybe they're just waiting for the track to be its best at the end, which isn't unheard of in sprint racing. Only got limited tyres. Maybe they're trying to save those mediums for the sprint and for the feature. So it could be a bit of a strategy they got on their mind.
It's time to get a move on, boys. Get those cars out of the garages.
Absolutely, a lot of cars still sitting in the pits.
Like Zonix may be on his way out at the minute. I don't know. I saw a Mercedes. Oh, it's PS Bomber.
Scotty's out. Zonix still sitting in the pit.
Yeah, it's PS Bomber at the Mercedes that I saw leaving the pits.
If Zonix doesn't get out very, very soon, he might be pushing it for time a bit. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's about 1:30 on a push lap. 1:35 by the time you find yourself some space, maybe 1:40. Another 10, 15 seconds to get down the pit. I don't think he's going to make it even if he goes now. So,
no.
Zonix maybe.
Too late.
Yeah, I think Zonix maybe something's popped up, but he might have to explain that one to Mr. Headstraw. Here he comes out now, but he has left that rear. He's going to have to push on this outlap. He's going to be seriously pushing it.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to make it at all in the slightest.
I'm with you. Same with Hughesy. Hughesy's in behind him.
He's got 10 seconds, 6 seconds, but it's going to be close. It's going to be really close. They're going to cross the line with 1 second to go. Hughesy's going to be right up his keister.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to ride on board.
You're going to ride on board with them. Just let us know when to flick over to them. We're just kind of going to go through a bit of the pack here. So it looks like Ranieri, Prancer, the favorite reindeer of Ramped, is currently the only one on the lap other than Fish Lips. The rivalry between these two. And then
beautiful.
Tyler's also started one as well. So starting to set those lap times and get those hot laps going.
Yeah, so Zonix is just going down. Just going down the old start finish straight now.
What is going on? It looks like there was a bit of a schmozzle with the kicks. Oh, they're just kind of giving each other some time, and the RB's behind them. Just let it happen. So that's okay. I thought there was an incident, but does it look like Zonix and them are going to be able to make it? So Whiff is getting ready to start his lap. He was just slowing down.
Yeah, Hughesy's just going through the right-hander now before the final chicane. So he's going to be really, really close on the line here, and he's not going to have the space he's going to want in front of that RB. Same with Hughesy in behind. Even if they make the line, they're going to be copping some dirty air. It looks like he's going to make it just.
Yeah, I'm on Zonix at the minute. Crosses the line. 5 seconds to go. Hughesy is obviously right behind him. So these two are going to be a little bit too close for comfort, I reckon, on a quali lap, and Hughesy may catch some dirty air. But, Hughesy, he gets those, he gets lessons. Oh! As we see Prancer set it down with a 1:26.274, taking pole for the sprint race so far. Tyler Mandavies came through with a 1:26.9, then Fish Lips 1:26.5, and a 1:26.5 for Jackal. So Jackal and Fish Lips separated by 1/1000th of a second. So tight pack. Chi Dung coming through the 1:26.7, Junkyard 1:26.7. See, Marzi 1:26.5. So he improves, but doesn't really improve his spot. Let's see, who else we got? Now, Whiff, I'm interested to see what Whiff is going to be able to do. Now, I think Sprinter's going to be able to set it up within the top 4 quite easily.
He's just about to cross the line now. 26.3 P2.
Oh, he's...
Oh, spanner.
Oh, there it is. He is going to be on the... Is it the outside? The outside line going into turn 1? Here in Silverstone? I think it's... I think
you're right.
I think...
With P10.
And with P10. really uncharacteristic. I think he ends up dropping down to P12 by the time the other two cross the line. Didn't really see it, but, you know, we got Ranieri in the chat. He's all pumped up. He's got his ball fan cranking it because he's on pole position. We got Husey, P2. That was one of the quiet ones that snuck up in there. Sprinter Giggles,
Where does
P3.
that come from?
Zonix, P4. Dynasty Sparrow, P5. Marzi, 6. F7, 7. Jackal, 8. Fishlips, 9. Cheedong, 10. Junkyard Doggy, 11. Whiff, 12. Tyler Mandavy, 13. Mazza, 14. Uncharacteristic from the kick there. Jerbot, 15. Spud, 16. Scotty, 17. And PS Bomber rounding it out at 18. Yeah, a couple of surprises there, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. I was riding on board with Scotty and Mozza, and they both seem to make little mistakes in Sector 3, which obviously has hurt their times. But the one that is intriguing to me is the front row, Husey and Ranieri. For anyone who has been following along in the chat in Discord, they know that there is a little bit extra heat in this race between those two. There's been a lot of chat back and forth. I'm not saying what's on the line, but let's just say that these boys will be fighting pretty hard.
Well, it's about time Husey showed up. With all the lessons he gets from a certain someone whose home track is Silverstone, will remain nameless, it's about time Husey showed up in quali. Now, if Husey can just keep his nose clean and not get any penalties, he's on track for a really good race, I reckon.
Absolutely, mate. He has shown he's got all the pace in the world, but does Husey. The thing that has always been his, I suppose, again, the mark on the report card is his patience. So is he going to try send a move early here on Ranieri, or is he just going to tuck himself in behind and wait for the right one to pop up with DRS? That's what I'm going to be looking for, because it's very, very easy to get sucked into a move into turn 3, into the first sort of hairpin, because you can get a decent run out of the first couple of corners if you keep the foot down. So that's what I'll be watching here as we get a 5 red lights, mate. Take us away.
All right, here we go. 3, 4, 5 lights. They're out, and away we go here at Silverstone, the Great Britain Grand Prix. And we've got Ranieri on the outside going into turn 1. Husey gets a slow start. Sprinter Giggles already... Oh, Sprinter Giggles takes Husey out. Don't know if that was, Husey's fault or Sprinter Giggles' fault, but they're heading into turn 3. Husey is all the way down at the back of the pack. We are going 2 and 3 wide, and it looks like Dynasty Sparrow has made a move on a couple of people, getting that RB up. F7 is right on Dynasty's tail, looking pretty clean off that start, does the young fella. Then we got Cheedong, followed by Jackal. Jackal had a shocking start. He's dropped a few positions already. Junkyard Dog is looking pretty strong. Whiff is getting the move done on Mazza around the outside, but then Mazza tucks it back inside, takes it down the back straight, and here we go. We got Fishlips and Tyler Mandavy going side by side, which this is a scary part of the track. You don't really want to do it. You're going full throttle through this turn. How are they going to handle this? Oh, there it is, cleaned out. There we go. So there was contact between the Alpine and the Red Bull, and that unfortunately sent the Red Bull helicopter in and also taking out the other Alpine driver. So we are seeing some carbon fiber lost, and it's a miracle that we haven't seen any sort of VSC or anything like that, but everybody's pointing the right way. We're all kind of in a single file line now, and that has been your first lap here at Silverstone. And Prancer, the reindeer, is still out front by 3/10, followed by Sprinter Giggles, who had a crazy good start. A little bit sketchy, though, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Husey and the tickets for the stewards at this one. And then followed by Zonix, who, again, another good start. All right, over to you, Tyrone. Just need to have a little bit of a breather. There was a lot happening on that lap 1, I'm going to say that much.
And it's still happening up the front. Ranieri and Sprinter going side by side through the first couple of corners. Ranieri with some stallion defense so far, but Sprinter is all over the back, but one mistake, and Zonix is only a 10th or 2 behind there. It is all go here. It looked like tears early, unfortunately for Husey with Sprinter. Sprinter throws it down the inside of Ranieri into the left-hander. It's through. Oh, it's still side by side. Zonix is here waiting to pounce away. This is great racing from the front 3. They ended up side by side down the old start-finish straight, and Zonix has got the best seats in their house here to watch this one unfold. It's going to, they stay side by side. It could end in tears. Sprinter's on the outside, Ranieri on the inside. They are, and there's contact. They're contact, and Sprinter's pushed wide. Oh, I don't think that's anything on Ranieri there. It looked like an early turn in, but that's not my call to make, and Zonix goes through to P2. These 3 are fighting tooth and nail, and Marzi now is joining the battle. There is still no gaps all the way down to P13, even with all this chaos. There is still, everybody is in DRS except for Scotty with a bit of front wing damage after that earlier contact with, I think it was it Mozza from early on. So this is some fantastic racing from the Div 1 boys. This is unreal stuff.
Mate, not gonna lie, this pack is tighter than stripes on a tiger. Look at them go. As we're starting to see, Zonix take the lead as he does the audacious move towards the end. Everybody's trying to take different lines. If you look at that pack, we got 4 or 5 cars going wide. Looks like there may be a bit of a lag spike issue. I don't know what's going on. Everybody is so tight-knit. Prancer has fallen down. He's down to P4. It doesn't look like there's any wing damage on that Aston Martin, but he needs to find that throttle and find it quick, because those top 3, they're looking like they're starting to create some space. Zonix is out to a 6/10 lead. Now, the others do have DRS. Ranieri pulls out the way. It's almost like something's wrong with his car. Can't really tell.
I think he's having some connection issues. I saw him just bounce around a little bit there, so I wonder if he's lost control of his car here, because that car is going uncharacteristically slow here and seems to be jumping out of the way of a lot of cars, which would be a real shame for Ranieri. He's had a great start to this race, but he just can't.
He needs an invite. Exactly, can you chuck him an invite, please? His game crashed.
Absolutely, I can.
All right. Unfortunately, he is just dropping down, and he is going to hate where he comes in at, and that's for sure. Really unfortunate. EA, fix your net code. It's always an issue. You're a multi-billion-dollar company. You're never going to hear me say this to you, but fix it. Husey picks up the first penalty. There it is. We were talking about that Tyrone at the beginning of this race. Is he going to be able to keep his net clean? Now, he did get... Okay, let me rephrase this. There was an incident on lap 1, right?
Yes, there was.
Which there's no fingers being pointed. That's why I had to rephrase it. But, you know, you gotta cool your head off and be able to just chill. Just find that zen and bring it home without any pens.
Absolutely, and a lot easier said than done, I will say. But yeah, that first lap incident, it looked like it was a bit of an understeer, bit of a squeeze, bit of this, bit of that. Hughes didn't have the best launch off the line. Sprinter was able to pull alongside. The stewards have a good look at it, no doubt. But yes, unfortunately, it's just put Hughes in a very compromised situation. As I just look through some of the data here, I'm just watching Chi Dung and PS Bomber go side by side. Chi's got a bit of front wing damage, so he's been dropping down the pack a little bit. Along with Fish Lips, he's got a little bit of minor damage on the front wing as well. So there's 3 drivers, Scotty as well, as we already know. But those drivers are just not quite getting the grip that they probably wanted to get in this sprint race. It's always a good opportunity just to hone the racecraft, hone the race pace in, and those drivers just aren't able to do that under full proper conditions here.
Yeah, I was wondering if there was an issue with Chi Dung, because I saw Chi Dung carry it a little bit wide as PS Bomber was making the pass. He was up on the screen there for everybody to see, and PS Bomber just made it look so clean going through there. But Jackal's looking pretty racy tonight behind F7, and don't know if he'll be able to climb up the ladder anymore. It's kind of a DRS train up to Marzi. Marzi seems to be playing second conductor.
Yeah, absolutely. But we all know how calculated that man is. So is he just biding his time in the cleaner air, I'll say, with his tyres, just trying to look after them a little bit? Potentially, because those front 3, they're very close. Everyone's very close. F7 is all over the back of Marzi. This whole grid is within a second of each other almost. It is insanely close racing, which is fantastic to watch. Not only just watch, call, experience, everything in between. I'm just looking over, and it does look like Marzi is just trying to look after those tyres just a little bit more than the rest of the grid. Oh, yeah, F7 and Marzi getting very, very close, aren't they?
Very close, and F7 is looking really racy. Marzi's like, okay, all right, I get it. You touched my butt. I'm not cool with that. I'm just going to let you by.
A bit of contact.
Did they make contact going in? I couldn't see it quite on the stream. But here we go. We got this long right-hander. It looks like F7 is setting up for the best exit that he can. And he does get that. And he's already separated by 5/10. Jackal's right behind him. He's also got the move done on Marzi. But anything can happen. We're halfway through this race right now. We're about half a lap through. Bang on 4.5. Here we go.
Woo. I feel like I haven't stopped talking. This has been crazy, but Marzi has picked up a bit of damage there from that contact with F7.
Oh,
looks like the front right end plate may be missing.
McLaren?
Yeah, front right end plate is missing after that contact, so that's going to be really hurting his race now, especially through sectors 2 and through Maggots and Beckett's. It's so tough with the end plate missing there. Just the amount of change of direction you have, how much trust you need in that car, and he's just going to be missing just that little bit, as it looks like now Moz is going to look to make the move. Marzi's got the inside line. They're going to go side by side. Can they keep it clean? Good racing from both. And a little bit of a wheel lock, but they've kept it clean. Nice move from Mozza. Good respect and good space given by Marzi. So, unfortunately, that damage is going to hurt his race here. But Mozza, he's up 8 spots so far. He's having a good race here. Good recovery from his qualifying.
Yeah, good old mozzarella fingers was really down on himself before this race. So, it's really good to see how he's handled this sprint race. He was not looking forward to it. He doesn't like Silverstone. Had a little bit of a chat with him. He was playing Roblox to keep himself calm before the race because he was not looking forward to this at all. Did zero practice, and obviously he's got the skill of the bigger cheese because he's just throwing those matzo fingers down, and they're handling that controller really well through Silverstone.
Every time I think of that man on controller racing this game, it just gives me chills down to my spine. I cannot believe he has such control on a controller as Zonix has made the move past Sprinter Giggles to take the lead. Sprinter just run a little bit wide there. I wonder if he's picked up a warning, but I know this game, especially on the exit of Cops, it can be a little bit forgiving. So maybe he's gotten away with it. From what I can see, he's got no warnings.
Oh, as we see Fish Lips and PS Bomber go side by side through Mags and Beckett's. And now they're going down the hangar straight, and it looks like Fish Lips is out front, PS Bomber. They're all going to have DRS, though, but looks like the squeeze might be on. No, Fish Lips is guarding the line and making that car wide. It's elbows out here in Great Britain tonight, I can say that much. We got Jerbot in the chat saying that there was no race room given for him. And look, I didn't see anything, and I'm not going to say it didn't happen. But Jerbot, if you could just go ahead and fill out one of them tickets, we'll let the stewards handle it. That'd be the best way to go moving forward. What's going up, Joe Racing? How you doing tonight, man? Thank you for tuning in and watching this. So we've got 3 laps to go. Zonix is out front comfortably, and he has just put it down and let Sprinter Giggles know I'm here to play. I want to bring home points for Mercedes. Sprinter Giggles is your championship leader at the moment, but has Sprinter settled for P2? He's got Dynasty Sparrow right behind him. I think it's kind of a dangerous thing. You've got to make a move sooner or later here, don't you, Ty?
Absolutely do. The moment you lose DRS around here, it can be really, really hard because it's hard to follow closely. Even within that 7/10 range that Sprinter's currently with Zonix, he's going to be feeling the effects of dirty air through Maggots and Beckett's here, and it's already a tricky enough complex of corners as is in a clean air. So with the dirty air, you've really just got to pick your line and make sure you stick to it like you're on a tram road. So if he gets it just slightly wrong, Dynasty's going to be all over the back of him, but it does look like he's got that one quite right. So he's giving himself another lap of breathing room. Only 2 laps to go, though. If he doesn't make a move soon, I think Dynasty's going to be all over the back of him saying, well, if you won't, I will.
Well, here's the interesting thing I'm noticing as well, because we're on board with Dynasty. And it looks like Sprinter might have a bit of a wing advantage in running the lower wings tonight, while Dynasty might be running a little bit of the higher wings. Dynasty handled those turns really nicely. Sprinter, on the other hand, had to slow down a lot more. However, his getaway speed when he got to the straight is what's keeping him safe at the minute. So all it's going to take is one little mishap from Sprinter Giggles in that kick, and then Dynasty is going to eat.
Well, I'm going to say that your theory is pretty accurate because looking at the data over here, mate, Sprinter Giggles tyre wear is worse than Dynasty's, which does indicate a less downforce. So coming on to these last 2 laps, that rear left really feels it around Silverstone. Really, especially through Maggots and Beckett's trying to put the traction down. Really easy to slip it out through the long right-handers through Cop's Corner. There's plenty of them. So all it takes is one little mistake, one usage of the curb that was too much, one heavy foot, and he could really be putting himself in danger because Dynasty is all over the back of him at the moment. He is really under pressure.
He really is. And Sprinter Giggles has murdered his battery. He is straight Ed gained it. It is down to 6% as they go through Mags and Beckett's. He's back up to 20 going on to the hangar straight. But Dynasty is playing the long game here. It looks like he might be waiting for the last lap to make a move, maybe hoping that Zonix can maybe pull away a little bit. And, I'm sure Zonix would much appreciate seeing Dynasty in his rear view than that kick from Sprinter.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as long as Zonix keeps it cool, calm, collected, he has got the battery advantage, and I think he's got the pace advantage around here. So I think as long as he keeps it all cool, calm, collected, he could bring himself a nice little cheeky sprint race win here. I think it really is up to P2 here, but crazy things have happened in Silverstone. It's not impossible, but Sprinter down to 3% battery. Dynasty sitting on 40, so there's a massive discrepancy there.
There certainly is. I just flicked down on your screen over to Spud Muffin with Matif and Scotty. Just kind of watching this little pack here. It looked like Spud may have been going for a move on Whiff, but not quite able to get the job done. But it's lap 9 of 9 here in this sprint race. We're going to go on board with Dynasty. He's your P3 man at the minute, and we're going to watch this last lap unfold from the driver's spot. Tyrone, take us through it.
Well, they come down the old start, finish straight for the last time of the sprint race here. Sprinter has murdered his batteries, taking all the curb on the inside there through Cops Corner, keeps it stuck to the road nicely. Dynasty, if he wants to make a move, he needs to get close out of Maggots and Beckett's here. He needs to be within a couple tenths, but he is just at the moment a little bit too far back as Fish picks up a 3-second. So, does he have enough battery? Does he have the drive out of that final corner? DRS comes wide open. The battery advantage is all the way Dynasty's way, but I think Sprinter's got enough of a gap to where he'll be safe. It's a matter of, has he got the grip through the final long right-hand corner? He does, keeps within track limits nice and comfortably. As long as he picks his braking zone, Zonix has got this one wrapped in the bag. Looks to have done so well. Don't put the foot down too heavy through this last couple corners. Puts the battery on. Risky move, but it doesn't matter. Zonix is going to cross the line for the Mercedes for a cheeky sprint win, followed by Sprinter and Dynasty to finish out your podium. And if that's anything to go by for the feature race, we are in for an absolute treat.
Yeah, absolutely right. So we're just going to watch these last cars come across the line. So, we got F7, P4, Jackal P5, Mazda P6, Junkyard Dog P7, Marzi P8, PS Bomber P9, Fish Lips P10, and I lost it.
Always the way. It always disappears when you most need it most.
Oh,
like
ended up on Spuddy in P13, A lot of respect for that guy. All right, so there's your results. So Fish Lips was P10, Cheedong P11, Whiff Matif P12, Spuddy P13, Scotty 14, Ranieri with the unfortunate DC in 16, and Tyler Mandavy and Jerbot rounding out the entirety of the grid there.
Woo! I feel like I've just called a full race. That was everywhere. That was amazing. I thoroughly enjoyed that. And like I said, if the feature race is half of that, it's gonna be a ripper.
That's it. But here we go. We're gonna go into one-shot quali. We're loading into it right now. Let's see.
Who's your pick?
I was gonna say, should we throw it into chat? Let's just do a. Oh, here we go. It is a pouring quali here in Silverstone. This is going to be a great day. I am all for this weather here. I don't know what the race is going to be, but wow, it is raining cats and dogs. And my unsung hero. I'm picking an unsung hero. I'm not picking top one, right?
Talk to me.
The biggest one that's going to surprise the most folks, and I'm going to call it out, is my main man, Spud Muffin. He's the guy.
A little bit of rain.
He loves the wet. He is a wet weather merchant. He's a Div 2 driver, and I swear to you, that man will reserve. He will drive. He doesn't care. He just loves the challenge. He likes being on the track with other people. I raced with him in the first league race that he's ever done. I was his team principal. He's just an absolute legend, and he loves being around and loves the community and just wants to race. Doesn't matter where he comes. Doesn't matter where he finishes. He just wants to be there and have fun. But as we found out a couple of weeks ago, I think it was a Brazil race or something along those lines.
I think it was the Brazil race.
He is just a wet weather merchant. I'm not saying he was Max Verstappen-esque in 2024, but he's pretty quick. It blew my mind.
Absolutely.
But look at this
like
track. Look at this track.
It is wet. It is wet. From the radar, I'm saying it is going to ease as the session goes, but it looks like there's going to be rain or at least water on the track all quali. So.
Oh, and we've already got tears in the chat. We got Sprinter Giggle saying GG can't drive in the rain. Hey Lockie, how you doing, man? No. Thanks for tuning in tonight and watching the stream. And then we got Nikki Marule saying reindeer. Reindeer is their pick. So there we go. We got Prancer for a pick for P1. Tyrone, man, I've done so much talking. I'm excited. I was excited to see the wet weather. Got me all in the heebie-jeebies. So what's your pick? What's going to be your surprise or your top?
I love to hear you excited. When you're excited, I'm excited. When I'm excited, everyone in the chat should be excited. So, look, wet quali, it's just a game changer because as you said, unsung heroes, the mighty, everything is flipped on its head. If you haven't done the practice or you haven't got the confidence under your car, then you're done. You just cannot put a good time in because if you haven't got the confidence to put the foot down, there's just not a chance. In saying that, who do I think is going to put a good time down? I'm going to go. Look, I know he's got pace. He knows he's got pace. He hasn't been at the pointy end for a little bit of time, I'd say. He's probably ready for one. I'm going to say fish lips. He lives in water, mate.
Hey!
When the rain comes down, let's see how this fish can swim.
Good old fish man. Well, he is one of the drivers that I've spoken to quite a bit, and he has self-admitted he hasn't been able to spend as much time in his rig as he wants. He's got a lot going on, but yeah, it's time to see him have a bit of a return to form. So that would be really good to see him do that. Now the one thing that's gonna, yeah, go on, go.
I was just gonna say, I think no matter what happens here, we're going to be surprised. I don't think there's nothing predictable about this. There's going to be someone out of place, whether that's someone who's not used to the top three finding themselves up there, whether it's vice versa, because it's going to be a matter of who can be on the track at the last given moment, I think. As the track improves, as the dry line comes through, who's going to be the last one on track, who can keep their foot in, have the balls of steel, the man of steel, and take charge of this quali.
Yeah, you're absolutely not wrong. Like, we're going to see a whole bunch of stuff out of place tonight. And it makes it so good. It makes it so
beautiful.
And so, like, at the end of the day, what tires are you going out on? You're going out on the inters.
Absolutely.
It's got to be the inters. If you're out on wets, there it is. Whole grid's on inters. If you're out on wets, you're not playing the game. Now, what strategy? And I'm not trying to give anything away. So if you tell me, because your race is tomorrow night, if you tell me you don't want to say it, what strategy do you go with when you see weather like this?
Look, I am no professional racer at that, but I like to think I've got a bit of an idea when it comes to this stuff. I like to think I'm pretty handy in the wet, and my strategy is put plenty of fuel in the car. I like to do two stints or 2 runs. When there's a wet quali, I do the first run till about 6 minutes or so maybe 3-4 laps depending on the track, and just really use it as a sighter. Never take my battery out of medium, not really pushing maximum attack all the way through, just seeing where the grip is, seeing how the track's improving, how quick is it improving, how much curb can I use, where do I have to brake, just finding all those little things out, because it's different every time. All right, you could have 3 wet qualities and none of them are going to be the same. All right, it's really a matter of finding what is the track doing on that given occasion. Once I chuck that second set of boots on, though, that's when it's go time. It's take the car out on the outlap, find where's the grip, have a little feel around, and then it's maximum attack for 2 laps. It's push, cool, push. 6 minutes is plenty of time to do so, and that's how I run my wet qualies.
There it is. So that's a lot different compared to what I do. So me, I'm just Div 2 guy, by the way, so it is what it is. But what I do is I do 4 out laps, right? I chuck about 6 laps of fuel in the car. I do 4 out laps, and then my 5th lap is absolute push. And then by then, I think I've got the tires in, the dry line is kind of settled in, and then I come back in and maybe go out again. It all depends on how much time you can get it done in now. Because, yeah, you're really only looking at about 2, maybe 3 laps, depending upon how you do it.
Absolutely. It's the last 2 minutes that matter. And, for example, we had a wet quali on Monday night, and I was feeling good the whole time, but I just missed my fueling ever so slightly, so I had to come in for the last minute. I couldn't get my last lap in. I was on pole position with 2 minutes to go. I finished up 13th. So it just shows that last minute is also important. You have to be on track, and you have to get it right.
Yeah, you certainly do. And, we're just on board with Tyler at the minute, and he's just set the fastest Sector 1. It does look like the rain's letting up a little bit, and a dry line is starting to form. And there it is, Jerbot. Now, let's talk about Jerbot, the Haas driver. He was in Div 2, right?
He was
in Div 2, and, he was, I don't want to say he was running away with it, but he was definitely up there at the top and making it known that he was here. And he asked, to be put up to Division 1. He wanted the challenge. So, he's going to be one to watch as far as I'm concerned. He wanted more of a challenge on track. Are we expecting him to be a podium here today? With a 139.9 as just your banker out lap, I'd say that might be a strong contender.
I would be saying he is a top 5 contender at absolute minimum. Jerbot has got plenty of pace. As I mentioned it last week, he's turned his ABS off and he said he's found plenty of time. And one of the most respectable qualities I've ever found in the man is that he said, I'm too quick, I want the challenge, put me up. He could have stayed in Div 2. We didn't force this. He could have stayed in Div 2 and taken it to the end, challenged for the title. Happy day, Bob's your uncle. But he said, nah, I'm not finding the enjoyment in that. I want the challenge. Let me see what I can do in Div 1. He's come up and he's showing that he's more than capable of it, which I love.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good to see the result. You know, he's asked for the challenge, and now he's like, nope, I'm here, boys. So that's really good to see from him. We got, let's see, who was the other driver? Oh, Tyler Mandavy, setting a 140.9. Now, he's going to be one that I want to watch. Now, one, he's my Aston Martin teammate in Division 2. He is in the Red Bull tonight, just kind of filling this grid out. But he pulled a DNF in the sprint race, which is always really unfortunate to see and can be really disheartening. So I want to see how he's going to bounce back from that kind of unwanted result in the race before.
Yeah, absolutely. As Scotty just pushed down, I was on board with that. That was a really hooked up lap. He was on the edge for that whole lap. He was skating, he was swerving. That was a really impressive lap. And that's the Scotty that I'm thinking has got all the goods to be at the top of this grid. Anyway, going back to your other question, Tyler, DNF. I didn't see what happened in the sprint race. I don't know if you caught what was the cause of that, but it's always it's a killer because immediately the mood drops. And you've immediately got to find that outlet, the silver lining, the light at the end of the tunnel to really pick yourself back and say, right, I've got a whole nother qualifying, I've got a whole nother race that is worth way more points that I've got to put in now, put my best foot forward and have a crack at. All right, now, if in Tyler's seat, yes, he has got the Div 2 race on Saturday. He's got another chance at this, but why not? Why wouldn't you want to have a crack at this? You're in Div 1, all right? Show us what you can do. All right, next season, changes are coming. Don't want to give it away all now, but changes are coming. You want to put your best foot forward. That's all I'm saying.
I would say it's in your principal interest. Hey.
Absolutely. Absolutely in your principal interest to put your best foot forward. That's all we're saying.
Yes. So, we got 8 minutes to go. Everybody's just kind of driving. There's
That's
nobody.
What you gotta do.
Nobody's really on a screamer. It looks like Cheedong's on his in lap. Jerbot.
Very nice lap.
Jerbot. Wow.
Very nice lap.
138.521. Backing it up. He got overtaken by Scotty by 4/10, and he says, nah, fam, hold my beer. And gets the job done in the Haas.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and the rain is going to keep easing for the next 5 minutes. So, it is just going to keep getting drier here. It's really going to be who is on track at the last moment. Because, look, Scotty's just started his lap again now. I can almost guarantee you he's about to go another 5/10 quicker than what he just did last time. So, it's just you look at the track. It already looks so much drier out there. You've just got to be out there getting a feel for it. It's all feel. It's got to be muscle memory. It's got to be instinct. It can't be driving on reaction.
That's right. Tyrone, let's hop on board with Scotty793 here. And why don't you run us through this hot lap?
Absolutely. As he's coming down, I believe it's the Wellington straight. He'll throw the anchors down at about 50 metres into the long left-hander. Really easy to run wide in the dry, let alone the wet. And then the tricky, sort of clumsy, long right-hander now. You've got to wait for the throttle, especially in the wet, that you can see the rear trying to step out all the best. Gets the battery on now. You've really got to wait for the car to be straightened up to do that in these conditions. Now down the old start, finish straight into Cops. Is it going to be a lift and a brake? A quick dab on the brake. Oh, gets the inside curb. Really threw the unsettled the car there, but kept it going the same way. He'll still be up in his time, no doubt, but that really would have lost him probably a 10th and a half, if not 2 tenths. Now he's throwing it through Maggots and Beckers. Just look at the car sliding through every single apex. Now he's just got to find his point, get the throttle down, and now it's a matter. Will he try to steal a bit of a toe? No, the car's out of the way. Well done from the V-carb. Whiff sets the fastest time by 6 tenths. It's going to be close here between Scotty and Whiff, I think, on this run specifically. Anchors down briefly at the 50-metre board. You can see the car sliding, refusing to slow up in these conditions. As those tyres get more and more worn, those grooves is going to be going away slowly. Now into the final couple of corners. He's just got to come through this clumsy chicane. Now into the final couple of corners. Really tricky getting the throttle down here. Touches a bit of the curb. The car's stepping out on him. And he does put down a 1:37.6, 2 tenths off Mozzarella Fingers with a 37.4.
Yeah, really good time. A couple of errors, though. As you saw there on that final turn, he definitely clipped too much of that curb. However, that being said, I'm not doing it.
It was a clumsy old lap, but he still put down a very strong time. So, I think if he chucks on some fresh boots for the last couple of runs, and you feel the grip, immense difference from a fresh set of inters to the worn set. Even 5 laps. Like, these tyres would only probably be on about 10%. But it's a massive difference from the fresh set. It just, that first couple of laps just really kills them. And as the track is drying, I should say, and the dry line's coming through, that fresh rubber gives you almost a second if you get it right.
Yeah, it certainly does. And, the other surprise here on your screen is Whiff at the minute. Tyrone, Tyrone, we've got, how much time do we have left? I don't know. Caution
5 minutes.
sector 2.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Oh, whiff just, woo,
Just threw it into the pit
just
box.
sending it into the pit lane. Having no regard for the brakes, but, you know, whatever. Digital life. Can we get a prediction in?
I can get a prediction
Can we
in.
get a prediction in? Let's see. Between Mazza, Scotty, Whiff, and you can't count out Sprinter Giggles, who's taking pole? So let's just do Mazza, Scotty, and Whiff, or other.
Mozza, Scotty, Whiff.
Or
I've
other.
got Sprinter in there as well as our
that's
team
fine. That's
as
fine.
as the leader. Other. All right.
So we got 5
just to leave it on
choices.
me.
Oh, did it?
That's all right. I'm going again. Don't stress.
All
Do
right.
not stress.
There's no stress, brother. I'm on my 3rd Jack and Coke. We're feeling pretty good.
Life's good, mate. Life's good.
That's it. So we're watching Husey in the Haas send it right into the pit lane. All right. Well, I was getting all geared up, but here we are. Probably not the appropriate choice of words to be using here in Great Britain.
Look, it is what it is. It's an age-old saying. It is what it is.
It is what it is. So here we go. We got Jerbot looking like he's getting ready to go on a lap. He was doing the wiggle down the hanger straight, and he's trying to get those
prediction
tires
is up.
warmed up a bit. Prediction is up, says Tyrone. Everybody, throw some channel points in there. Let's get some predictions in. Who do you think is going to take pole position today? We've got 4 minutes to go before this is paid out. Let's see what happens. So we're on board with Jerbot. He's going to burn it down to about 78. He does that going straight over the curb and invalidates on turn 1. He's not going to enjoy that at all. But if he plays the cards right, he can get that car around the track, save those tires. He's got plenty of fuel. Take your time, Jerbot. If you are listening to me right now, you want to be on track with 2 minutes to go. After 2 minutes of that timer, no track change is going to happen. There will be no further evolution. So you'll start your lap bang on 2 minutes if you take your time coming across.
Yeah, but he's just got to take it, fresh tyres. He doesn't want to take anything out of them. Just stick to the dry line. Don't put the throttle down too heavy. Just really look after those tyres. All right, temperature's not so much of an issue with these intermediates, or the wet tyres for that matter, even though they are forbidden on this track because the wet tyres aren't really real, are they? They're a fake, they're a myth. All right, they've never been seen, and they've never seen the light of day. I don't even know if they exist. All right, but yeah, just really want to look after them before you start this last lap. As you said, the track looking like it's going to be at its best over the next 2 minutes, so just needs to get it right. It'll be interesting. He might not even push this lap. He may go for a second cool lap. Who knows? It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, now we're going to go hop on board with Fish Lips as he slams it across turn 1. Doesn't really clip the corner too much. Takes turn 2 pretty smoothly. Going into turn 3, misses the apex slightly, but it is raining. Hard to control these cars in the rain, that's for sure. Taking turn 4 a little bit ginger-like. Slow on the throttle, but you don't want to spin these tires out. He's going to burn what he can down the Wellington straight. Probably stop the overtake at about 150. He does. Brakes one at 50. Ooh, is he going to clip the apex? He gets it. Really good. Maybe runs it a little bit wide, taking the long double right-hander. Is he going to get a smooth exit? You can hear the car chugging just slightly at one grip, and it's struggling to find it. But here we go. This is going to be the turn that makes it or breaks it for him. Gear down to 7. Probably gets off of the throttle a little bit too much, if you ask me, but I'm not out there driving. Here we going through Mags and Beckett's. Taking it rather smoothly. Looking like he's struggling to have confidence in the car. Trying to open it up over the hanger straight. You can hear it. It's just hurting at one grip. It's not finding any. But is he going to be able to set a top 10 time? He's just on the outside at P11 with a 138.8. I haven't really been paying attention to see if he's up. But here we are. We got 3 turns to go. Hit those brakes hard. Squeals it. Coming around that second to last right. And he's on the throttle. Don't cut this one too much. And he does. He improves on his time. Goes P2 with a 136.9 for the Fish Lips. So really good job from the Alpine driver right there. So I'm just looking in the chat right now, and it looks like we got a few bets on Whiff to take it. And somebody
He's the favorite at the moment.
Whiff is the favorite at the moment. So you know what? I'm gonna throw some dollars on the Mozza.
On the Mozza.
I'm gonna
You know what? If I was able to, which I can't on this phone because I set the prediction up, my money would be on Scotty. I'm backing him in. He's my boy. I've got a feeling.
Your money would be
Black
on
Eyed Peas
Scotty.
said it best. I've got a feeling. Ooh, ooh.
Well, Scotty's getting ready to start his lap. You know, let's see what happens. He's going to be one of the last people to come across. I think the last person is actually going to be Mazza.
Yep.
Yeah.
Scotty, Mozza, and the Ferrari of F7 have all got it very, very right here as they cross the line. As Mozza just goes quicker again, so he won't have the batteries. That's Mozza done. 35.2 is the time.
So
that's the benchmark.
We're currently on board with Jackal right now. He's going to come across the line. He's used all of his deploy, though. It's not looking too good for the Aston Martin driver. Might be struggling with that weather, and it stopped raining, so...
Yep.
Ooh, those tires are going to start cooking. I think this is going to be the grid. I think this is going to be it. Jackal with a 135.5. But what we're seeing right now is the track drying up. So he was one of the first ones to cross, and Spud with a 136.1. So these guys being one of the first few to cross, I don't know how it's going to fare for them. Hey, here we go. We got
Cheat across the line. Nah, it's still going well for him. You want to be on track. Your tyres might be screaming at the end of it, but there might be just enough water on that track still to keep the tyres under control. As Mercedes P4, so the sprint race winner can't quite crack the top there. Who's that next across the line? Reindeer puts into P3. Following that is Marzi, and who was that behind him? I didn't quite see. PS Bomber puts in P4. Yeah. Jerabot, P1 so far, provisional, 35 flat. Behind him, Sprinter can't get past him. Who we got the RB, can't make an impression. Next across the line will be Scotty across the line. What kind of time has he got? He's got pole position by 4/10. Whiff puts it into P3. Jerabot's up into P2. F7 can't do anything about it, only as good as P9. I believe that's your grid, unless Junkyard is on a lap. He is not.
It's just Mazza and Junkyard.
Oh, Mozza.
That's it. That's going to be your starting order.
That's it.
That's your starting order right there. So we got Scotty, Jerabot, and Whiff, I think, in P3. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
All right. You want to go ahead and pay out those predictions?
Well, I can absolutely do that. No one went on the big fella. I would have won. You should have listened to me, gentlemen. Scotty is your pole position.
Go ahead and take us through it.
All right, P1, my boy, as I said, took him for the pole position prediction. He took it out by 4/10 over Jerabot, followed by Whiff and Mozza. Sprinter Gig was only P5, our championship leader, followed by Dynasty. Jackal, Reindeer in P8, but crucially above his rival Husey. F7 in P9, PS Bomber, Cheedung, Zonix, Spud Muffin, Tyler Mandavy, Junkyard and Marzi and McLaren Joy down a bit lower than they want to be. Fish Lips and Husey rounds out the grid. You've got to fly through it, otherwise you're going to miss it. So if you can keep up with my voice, well done to you, I say.
All right, so here we go. Is it going to be a wet race? Please be a wet race. No, no. I wanted to see some chaos.
Absolutely.
I wanted to see the wet weather merchants come out. But you know what?
It's definitely not clear skies.
No, it's not. So
definitely not clear skies.
We might see a little bit of something different.
You know, with a bit of luck. The rain gods do a bit of a rain dance. You know, Thunder, I'm expecting a nice video of you in the chat soon, of you doing a nice rain dance outside, you know, tribal wear on. And we might be able to see some excitement. So, but, you know, that all begs on you to do a little dance, mate.
I feel like
we all know you love it.
Haven't had that much to drink just yet.
One more, he says. Give me one more.
That's not wrong.
Right. So, into turn 1, 2, 3. You've got Scotty, and you've got, who was next to him? I've already forgotten. Jerabot. Scotty and Jerabot. Who leads out of onto the Wellington straight for the first time?
Well, it's all about the start. As we saw here earlier in the sprint race, start means everything. And, you know, you got to have a lot of trust in your person you're driving next to. So here we go. 4, 5 lights. They're out and away. Here we go for Silverstone for the feature race here in Great Britain. So it looks like Scotty gets out to a clean start. Jerabot falls in right behind him, followed by Mazza and Sprinter Giggles. Now these two are going side by side. They're on the same team. Work it out, boys. You ain't going to win the race on lap 1. We got all kinds of cars going 2 and 3, 4, 3 wide. This is an Aston Martin sandwich with the Red Bull in the middle of Dynasty Sparrow, and he's managed to be getting through that quite smoothly. I'm lost for words right now. I'm not really getting it right. Looks like there's a bit of rumbling going backwards. And is it Prancer again? Oh, Prancer makes contact with the Williams, goes side by side. He is all over the shop. I'm not too sure what's going on. Looks like Cheedung's going around. Oh boy, chaos here in Great Britain on lap 1 again. Boys, I can't do this for 26 laps. I just did it for 9. I was out of breath. It's a struggle. So Junkyard Dog and Marzi are going to struggle at the minute. I don't know what's happened to them. I don't know if they didn't have the strongest quali, but I thought Marzi was up towards the top. But yeah, Dynasty Sparrow.
Qualified quite low.
Dynasty Sparrow looking strong in between those Aston Martins and making that car stick. He wasn't in the best position to be, but respect to those guys because it looked like they got through it cleanly, but I don't know what happened with Prancer. Maybe too much wheel banging.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looked to be a pretty clean start as there's an Alpine wide on the gravel in the back there. And then it just looked like there was the Aston of Ranieri and one other car, it might have been the Red Bull of Chi, just going a bit sideways through the left-hander. So whether there was a bit of rear locking or maybe a little bit of contact, it just seemed to cause a bit of a carry-on effect there for the rest of the grid. But everyone's still facing the right direction, which is always positive. I'm not sure what the damage outcome of all the cars there was. I'll have to have a look in a moment for you. But Scotty is already down to P3, so I don't know if there's been a mistake or if Sprinter and Jerry have just really capitalised. But Jerrybot is now, from Div 2, leading your Div 1 race around here at Silverstone.
He is, and he's got Sprinter Giggles right behind him. But there's something to be said about Scotty at the minute. And I think he may have done the whole dry set or the wet setup.
Yes, that was what I was going to suggest. I wonder how many of our drivers now have the dry setup on and suffered through quali, and now we're going to really struggle here in the dry. So maybe that's what's happened with the McLarens, because they're both already making moves up the field, as is Fish Lips, as is Spud, Tyler Mandavy. There's plenty of moves happening from the back of the grid who maybe they're all just on those dry setups. Maybe this is going to be a slow burn as cars slowly figure themselves out. But you never know what can happen around
Silverstone.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible. It is a 26-lap race. It is...
Oh,
what's going on?
Nice move, Mozza. Mozzarella's just made a great move into the final chicane around the outside of Scotty, and Scotty dropped another position.
Oh, no. That Alpine struggling for pace. But it's the other thing as well is it's really hard to get a safety car in Silverstone in this game.
Yes. Yes, it is. The walls are so far away. The walls are really far away. So unless there's a DNF between car contact on track, very rarely does their safety car pop out because cars can just keep going again, as Pierce Bomber and Fish Lips have pitted early for damage, I believe.
Sprinter Giggle sideways. He tried to make the move on Jerrybot, and Jerrybot was having none of it, and Sprinter Giggles just ate the rear tire of Jerrybot, and probably shouldn't have stuck his nose in there. I'm no steward. Just saying that one. I'm no steward, but you were not entitled to racing room, in my opinion. Which is
we're allowed
of
opinions.
The stewards. I'm allowed an opinion. I'm not saying it's fact. I could be totally wrong. But
look, and I wonder, did Jerrybot and Sprinter come together in the sprint race? Because we know Jerry ended up being a DNF in that race. Maybe a bit of bad blood between those two. I'm not entirely sure.
Well, I mean, that being said, there was no malice in the move. Like, it was just, yeah. Like, I don't think there's bad blood per se. I don't know. I did comms with Jerrybot last week, and he seems like a legend of a bloke. Can't really fault him. I'm not, I don't think there's bad blood in his bones, mate. I know he's a bit of a driver coach for a couple of drivers in the league. I just don't think he's got it in him to be that way.
No, he's a very, very nice gentleman, is Jerrybot. But in saying that, once you sit in that cockpit or you sit in that sim rig or you put your hands on that controller, there's something that goes on in the brain that says, you know what, you, me, enemies, get out of my way. All right? And unless you've already got good terms or you're already on the chat together, I know for me, if I'm not talking to you actively in the chat trying to work together with you as a teammate, I don't care who you are. You are getting out of my way, all right? And I'm being ruthless, all right? You're not coming through easily.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And now one thing that I want to point out is I've just put up the tires for everybody to watch and check out at home is F7 is on the hards. He's currently in P9. Now, it's an interesting call to be on the hards, and it's even more interesting that he's able to keep up. Because, last year's iteration of this game, F124, the hards really, really struggled here at Silverstone.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a soft medium race every day of the week, twice on what's today? Thursdays. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes. Obviously, the time model is a bit different in this game, and EA and Codemasters are still doing bits and pieces to it, as we saw around Brazil. As he looks like he's making a move here on Zonix, the sprint race winner. They're going to go side by side into the chicane. F7 has to bail out of that one, as it looks like he got a bit of a wobble coming into the first corner, and now he's going to be under pressure from Tyler Davey, who again reserving up, doing a great job down there in P10, really holding his own.
I think Tyler's doing it really well, to be honest. He's holding his own. F7 is no pushover by any means, and he is maintaining pace with F7. And I think it's just a matter of time now. A lot of people probably have some sort of combo setup going on. It doesn't look like anybody's really separated. We are in a DRS train. Oh, we were until I spoke. But we were in a DRS train, Tyrone, from P1 all the way down to P14.
You know what? Give it a couple of corners. F7 will get back up. He'll get back up there. And I wonder, has Sprinter picked up a bit of damage from that moment you spoke of earlier? Because he just seems to be dropping off the pack a little bit.
Well, let's hop on board. I can't really see anything. Can you see anything on your telemetry?
No, nothing on the telemetry side. The only person with any sort of need for concern is Chi, but it's very, very
as
minor.
we see,
Whoa!
Whiff just goes sideways, going through that very fast right-hander, and he is just dropped like a sack of potatoes from P5 all the way down to P13. And that's what happens when you've got a DRS train. When everybody is so close together, one little mistake is going to cost you half a grid. And that's really unfortunate for the RB driver there.
Absolutely, because he looks strong all night. Through the sprint race, through the qualities, he's looked like he's been on the pace, and he could definitely pick up a good result, but only lap 5, he can work his way back up. Like you said, the grid is close together still, so he's not out of this race yet, but that definitely, it hurts the confidence. When you make a little mistake like that and you go sideways, especially through a corner like Cox where it can end in an instant, it just takes a couple of laps just to build that confidence back up. How hard can I push through that corner? Because you do need to do a little bit of a lift through there under race trim, because the car is heavy, of course, the tyres are wearing, and especially when you're that close to a car in front, it can be really tricky to get through on that.
You're not wrong.
So
Hey,
just while I'm looking, sorry, I was just having a look at the speed trap data, seeing if I could sort of pick up on who might be running the faster setups, who might be running a slightly slower setup. I think Scotty is running a bit of a wet weather setup, as his top speed through the speed trap was 3:37 on the last lap, compared to the car behind Dynasty with 3:41, both with DRS, of course. So maybe there's a bit of a difference there. And Mozza, I'm not sure if he maybe was stuck up behind and couldn't get fully on the throttle. He was at 3:32 on the last lap. So maybe a slight discrepancy there.
That's an interesting one from Mazda. But Dynasty just got the move done as they were going on to the old start straight. Like that right-hander. And really, really tough move to get done on that straight. And he's just made it stick. And you can tell Scotty went ride or die with his wet weather setup, I reckon.
I think
because
you're
he's
right.
already
He's
7
really
tenths behind Dynasty, which seems uncharacteristic. And I think that's going to be all set up.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I don't know how much time he's had to practice as well. That's all factoring in. But after the pace he had in qualifying, it's definitely looking like he's just had the wet setup. He's absolutely nailed the qualifying, but now with the dry race, it's the extra downforce is doing him no favours. Look, he'll be having better tyre wear. He'll be better through Maggots and Beckett's. But with the straights, the amount of straights and how long you're under full throttle here, it's going to be tough for him to keep up with those front runners.
It is going to be tough. And as we can see on your screen right now, Jackal, the Aston Martin driver, is right behind Scotty. He's looking very hungry, only 2 tenths behind the Alpine, and probably ready to make something happen really shortly. As he dives down the inside, going into the left-hander, makes it stick. Sprinter Giggles is right behind Scotty as well, but not looking too racy. But Sprinters is carrying Zonix and F7 with him. And now we know also in the chat, if you've been paying attention to Div 1, F7 and Sprinter Giggles just trade it back and forth. They volley each other's barbs. They're thinking that it's going to be them as a definite in for the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. Those two are they're going back and forth, and I'm really excited to see what happens when we get to Spa. with double points on offer, nothing's a certainty. Like, you could be sitting down in P3, P4 a little bit off the ways. You know, a couple of things go your way, and you could sneak in for a cheeky Stephen Bradbury and just pick it up at the end. So, you know, you got to be in it to win it.
Points?
Hey?
Is Spa double points?
As far as I'm aware, it is.
Is it?
I believe so.
I set the schedule and I can't remember, so, you know.
Well, to be confirmed.
Well, is it? I mean,
to be confirmed.
If it's
a 100% race. I know that much.
Yeah, it's a 100% race. That much I know, and it's a reverse championship grid order.
Yes, that is true.
I'd be absolutely wrapped if it was double points myself. I would be absolutely wrapped. But here we go.
Absolutely.
We've got a few people in the pits. Whiff is looking pretty racy, so he had that moment going on to the back straight before Mags and Beckett's, which saw him go sideways. He was able to save it, but he's looking pretty racy on those mediums, behind Junkyard Dog, and also behind our favorite reindeer, Ranieri. Is he going to be able to get the move done soon?
I think he won't have to. I'm going to say that Junkyard's in this lap because his teammate Marzi's just come off those softs. And at the moment, Junkyard is about a second and a half off the pace of Jerabot. So those softs are gone now. I would imagine he'll be into the pits this lap. And then Whiff will have to worry about reindeer ahead.
You know what?
So
we're 8 laps in. 8 laps in.
Indeed. Indeed.
And I don't want to say anything just yet, because if the moment I'm going to say it, I'm going to jinx it. But let's just have it. I'm going to have a cheeky look for everybody watching at home.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
You
I'm
know,
ready.
their name only appears once on this screen, which is quite impressive so far. But Husey is keeping his nose clean. That's right. And if he can do that, he's looking pretty strong. He's up in P11 at the minute, but don't count him out. He's been taking lessons from Brendan Lee. This is Brendan Lee's home track, and I think Brendan has a race here next month, doesn't he?
I believe it is. It could even be next week, I think, from memory. It is streamed online. I'll be putting the link out soon for those who want to watch. I've got the link saved somewhere. It's on YouTube. It's no secrets. But yes, he announced it officially the other day on his YouTube. I saw. So he'll be jumping in the Formula Fords, I believe it is, to whip around Silverstone, which will be a bit of fun. And you know, all best to him. Best of luck. Hopefully, he brings in a bit of fun. Most importantly, has a bit of fun, but has a good result as well.
He's rolling with the cheeky white and gold helmet too. Looks pretty good, if you ask me.
Yeah, I saw that. It was a very good, very sexy looking helmet, I must say. I was a big fan. So just on that last lap, just wanted to quickly touch on Marzi, who's chucked on the fresh hards. He looked to have the quickest lap, or quickest step to 3 by a decent chunk. So just watch the undercut here from Marzi. He was tucked up there behind Ranieri. Bit of a gap then up to Scotty. But, you know, I think with this undercut, he will jump potentially even Scotty. It's just a matter of time to see how long they last and if that tyre offset's going to be powerful.
Well, here we go. We got Tyler Mandavy and Husey coming into the pits. Looks like there's another driver right behind them. Is that Spuddy? Nope. Just those two have come into the pits. So I thought they would have made those mediums go a little bit longer.
I would definitely be targeting about lap 11, I'd say. But,
yeah, I think that'd be... Or are they doing 2 stoppers?
It's a stretch. If you're doing a 2-stopper, it's got to go. A lot of things got to go right, in my opinion. I just think the 2-stoppers, while they were a bit more viable at the start of the game when the tyre wear was really, really high, I think they've sort of toned it down a touch, and I think they're just not quite there anymore, which is a shame. I quite enjoyed the idea of the 2-stopper being viable in races. It added a bit of variety and a bit of strategy variation in races. It really added to the viewing experience, I thought. But, you know, EA will EA is what I'll say. So you can only do what you can only do.
That's right. You can only do what you can do. That's not wrong. F7, he got the move done on Zonix just a little minute ago. And he's looking pretty strong. Is he the Ferrari driver? Is he going to be able to close this gap up to Jackal?
Well, going off his lap times last lap, let me just give me 30 seconds, good sir.
All right, as we
Well,
see, Scotty, he's ducking into the pits. Lap 9. He's probably going to throw on some hards and see where he goes from there. And it looks like Whiff is also following him into the pits. And there it is. There it is. I shouldn't have looked. We're on lap 8, and he only had one warning, everyone. And in the last 3 laps, Husey has managed to bag himself a 3-second penalty.
And the other man,
lips.
sorry to cut you off. The other man who's sitting on 2 warnings and pushing for everything he's got is that man who's just set the fastest lap, Sprinter Giggles. He's sitting on 2 warnings at the moment. He's got to be careful. Plenty of race left.
I think he's not feeling Silverstone, is he, Sprinter Giggles? He's
No,
just, it's
which
not.
is going to put a serious hiccup or a spanner or a wrench or an oddly shaped ball or whatever you want
What?
into his toolbox. You know? Yeah, it's going to put whatever you don't want, it's going to put it into his repertoire. And he's not going to be happy because it's going to bring F7 right back into it if he can bag a good result. On that last lap, he was still 2 tenths slower than the cars ahead, but every lap that has been coming down. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him quickest man on track of the cars in the top 9.
Yeah, I think he'll start to get that car tuned in. I don't know. He might only have the wet setup. It might be a mind over matter thing. He's burning a ton of his battery though. He's not really harvesting that thing and making sure it
There go
stays
all the
okay.
medium runners in front of him, though. He's just taken the first place of this race now. And now how long will he extend? If I was him, I'm looking for lap 16, maybe lap 17, depending on how those tyres feel. If I have a quick look at the predictions, let's have a look-see. His tyres at that point of the race, if he goes to lap 17, he'll be sitting on about 86%. So he might have to settle into a bit of tyre saving if he wants to get to his target lap.
Is this F7 you're talking about?
F7 I'm talking about, yes.
And Sprinter
So-
Giggles has just come in to P3.
He has.
Is he going to be able to do 18, 19 laps on those hard tires?
According to the data, what do you think?
He'll be in puncture territory, without a doubt.
He'll be well into it. 97%.
Is
the
the
prediction.
expected tire wear by lap 26?
Is the expected tyre wear by lap 26. He's got to really save those tyres if he wants any chance.
And you know what? I'm not trying to discredit him or anything like that, but with only 5 seconds in between him and Jerbot, I don't think that's
Yep.
going to happen. Jerbot is in clean air. He's got a pack of drivers behind him ready to go. In Mazza, in Marzi, Dynasty Sparrow, Scotty, Jackal, Zonix, all of these guys are ready to pounce. Now, Junkyard Dog is on the mediums, but he's got 2.5 seconds to make up. But Jerbot is leading this hunting pack, we'll say, on Sprinter Giggles. Now, Sprinter has been able to extend by 1/10 this lap, and that is all. So that's going to be the time to watch that gap there, because that's going to be your difference maker. Now, Ranieri has come into the pits. Unfortunately, we're going to see him drop down to about P14 at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. The man I've got my eyes on at the moment is my McLaren teammate, Marzi. He pitted the same lap as Sprinter Giggles, and he is currently stuck up in dirty air. So his tyres are going to be a real struggle to get to the end. He is begging, absolutely praying for a safety car. Junkyard Dog's the other one. He is going to 2-stop. He's gone soft medium. We all know for a fact those mediums won't get to the end. So he's on the 2-stopper. If a safety car comes out, McLaren boys are in a decent spot, and so is Sprinter Giggles.
Yeah, it certainly is. Like, the McLaren guys are definitely looking good. Junkyard Doggy is going to be in a world of hurt, though, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
Just want to give a shout out to Evil Blade. And, you know, I got to wonder sometimes, you know, is he really old enough for a Twitch account?
Evil Blade.
No, not Evil Blade, Brandon's.
I was going to say.
You know, which is joyful.
It's joyful.
Like, the amount of times he just pops up and says 6-7. You know, I was scrolling through social media the other day, and I seen this mother-son bingo night, and the person calling the number says 067, and the amount of screams. Oh dear, yeah, wild, like octaves that can only be heard in like an elementary school
Opera.
gymnasium.
Yep. Trust me, mate. As the local PE teacher of my area, those teenagers, we'll call them, the devils, the future generations. I can't explain it. It's 6-7 this. It's 6-7 that. It's 41. It's you pick a number. It's a funny number. Bring it back. Bring back the OG funny number. It has meaning. Bring back 69. It's got culture. It's got flair. Can we start a petition, please, to advocate for 69 use, because it needs to come back. It doesn't get the respect it deserves, and 6-7 is starting to overshadow what is truly an OG legend of the game.
You're absolutely not wrong. Not wrong there. And I heard about this 41 the other day. And it makes no sense. But I was thinking to it, back in my day, the number was 42. 42.
And did it have culture and meaning?
It absolutely did, because it was I think it was Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy or something like that.
Yep.
The question to the robot was, what's the meaning of life? And he just came back with 42.
42.
And I can tell you the really nerd answer as to why it was 42. But here we are. Sprinter Giggles is getting away from Jerbot at the minute. He's been able to make up almost a second on Jerbot over the last few laps.
Yep, he has. But you know what? That is at the expense of. Let me try and get my words out of my mouth.
His
At the
tires
expense
are
of the
hurting.
rubber underneath him. He is now predicted to be at 101% come lap 26. So he's pushing. Absolutely, he's pushing. But he's got to start saving, and he's got to start saving soon. We know he did it last week. He was saving well around Jeddah. He said in the interview afterwards, he said the last 5 laps was tyre saving central. But I think the amount of tyre saving he's going to have to do, excuse me, it's going to be hard to keep Jerry behind.
I think it is. And, when we were in Jeddah, because that's when he was talking about doing the tire saving, he had a 15-second lead.
Yeah.
And
Exactly
by
right.
the time they came around for the final lap, it was only 3 or 4 seconds.
Yeah.
So here
Absolutely.
he doesn't have 12 seconds to spare. If he has 12 seconds to spare, do you know where that sees him? P14.
Yeah. He's going to struggle. I think he's a safety car or bust here for Sprinter. He's got the strategy wrong. If it's no safety car, he needs to be saving those tyres as much as possible, because just looking, he is slower than Jerobot by about 3/10 on the last lap. Also in saying that, F7, 2 seconds slower than Sprinter. All right, he's losing a lot of time out the front there. He's going to have to power home on those mediums.
Yeah, he's going to... F7, if he comes into the pits now, he's going to come out P9. Is that right? That's just quick math.
Let me have a look.
P9 or P11?
According to my maths and my system, P12 is where it would come out.
Yep, that sounds about right. Right in front of the reindeer. So he's probably really hoping for a safety car at the minute. But, Dynasty Sparrow, right on the back of Marzi. And these guys they're just training it right now. Like,
Yep,
everyone's
absolutely.
just following Jerbot. Now, there is a bit of a battle behind between Jackal and Zonix. It looks like they're going side by side. Zonix looks like he's trying to get the move done as they go onto the Wellington Straight. Everyone's got the DRS open. Marzi gets out the way. But Dynasty doesn't make the move. That's an interesting one.
He was saving the battery a little bit there. I'm not sure what the go was there. Maybe he has a strategy that I haven't thought of. Maybe that's the case. But the issue with Marzi, he needs to get past, because Marzi's tyres are already 8 laps old. They'll be 18 laps old by the time we get to the end of this race. And like I said before, those tyres simply aren't going to go that distance at this rate. The front left, he is currently scrubbing a brutal amount. And there you go,
there it
3
is.
seconds for Marzi. And that's just because those tyres are just, you can see, if you ride on board with Dynasty, you can just see that car is really struggling with rotation, struggling to keep it. And there is F7 into the pits. So
Well, let's do it.
F7 will come
Let's
in
hop
about
on board
P12.
with Dynasty. It looks like he's going up the inside, trying to get
Yep.
the move to stake. Now, he does have the grip. Our boy Spuddy
Absolutely
picks
he
up
does.
the 3 second. Unfortunate for him. But he's
in
got
comes
the
Marzi
grip.
too.
Marzi's coming in. He's putting on mediums. Bit of a Neapolitan race for Marzi, isn't it? He started
It
on
is,
the
absolutely it
softs,
is.
throwing on the hards. Now he's going to the mediums. It's got to be mediums at this
respect-
point.
Oh, yeah, it absolutely has to be mediums. You have a fresh set there. Yep, it is mediums going into the car. Look, it's not the perfect strategy, but he did start down in P15, I believe it was. So anything
And-
is better at this point.
You know who else
You gotta
came into
recover
the
what you can.
pits?
Who else is in? Sprinter Giggles.
That's the one. Sprinter
my
Giggles,
goodness.
your championship leader, is in P15, and it looks like
On the hards.
touch wood, there is only one driver on the grid right now that cannot go the distance. So that is
Fresh
a really
hards.
shocking call for him
I
to
can't
go on
believe
the
he put the
hards.
hards on.
I'm
He must not have had mediums.
I am
That's
shook.
the only. He must have picked the harder preset at the start, the harder allocation, because I just don't see a reason to put the hards on there. The mediums are going to be fine towards the end of this stint. Lighter car, all right, you're trying to burn through it. There's a yellow flag out. I'm not sure what that was for. It's gone. It's only very brief. But yes, F7 is already up into P9 after those pit stops. Finds himself a second off Ranieri. He's in a great spot. Is F7. He could be really threatening if he gets a wriggle on for another very impressive drive, a bit like Brazil.
Yeah, oh, Brazil. You know, if there is a
Chills.
if there's
Chills.
if there is a drive to watch, if you have not watched the ramped Division 1 Brazil race, go back and watch the last 12 laps. I'm not asking you to watch the whole broadcast, but just go back and watch the last 12 laps. F7 basically put on a pace masterclass, and
Absolutely.
it was an amazing drive by him. Not to give it away, but it was just spectacular.
One of the best races I've ever covered by far.
Yeah, it was heaps of fun. Heaps of fun. I couldn't believe it. The glaze that we put on that donut.
Oh yeah.
But
Krispy Kreme levels.
yeah, no, not wrong. But he's got Ranieri in his sights already. He's already made up that second that we were talking about. Ranieri is having a hard time getting around with making that Racing Bulls car wide as anything. And Prancer is struggling to get the job done, and that has just led to F7 being right behind him. Now, you're in F7's shoes. What do you do?
You've got to make a move, and you've got to make it in an unpredictable spot, because if you get stuck behind these two, you can wave any chance at a decent result goodbye, because your tyres are going to get heated up. You're going to be stuck. You can see how much more grip he has through Maggots and Beckett's, but he's runs a bit wide with the dirty air. Wow.
He goes
Picks
wide.
it up nicely.
And this is one of those things, right? If I'm F7, I am taking that last turn slow as can be, so I get a nice smooth exit. Slow in,
Absolutely.
fast out, keep the car on all fours, and then just burn all the way through there. Because you've got the grip advantage. Like look at the grip that F7 has compared to Whiff, compared to Ranieri, and he's going to send it up the inside, going down the front straight.
He has to. Absolutely has to make this move. Stick.
Oh!
Oh, there's contact.
Bit of contact. There was racing room. At least that's what I can see.
It would definitely, the stewards will look at it, no doubt, because F7, he needed that move to stick, and it may be a bit of a minor incident on track. That's a race-killing move. That's put him a second off the pace again. He's got to build that back up. It's slid his tyres across the track, taken wear out of them. That's a bigger incident than you think on the surface.
I think so, but I think F7 will recover by the time we get to Mags and Beckett's, to be honest.
Absolutely, but it's just the tyre wear that I'm worried about.
Like, they're going to be extra hot going into the next lap, so he's going to try and have to drive outside of the back of Whiff to cool those tires down a little bit. But Prancer looks like he's pulling away a little bit, as Whiff got battling up with F7 there, and it looks like Ranieri has started to pull away ever so slightly and trying to catch up to Scotty 793.
Yeah, and Scotty, like we said, what we suspect is that wet setup. Still put in a pretty solid race for himself. Sitting in P6, a little bit off the back of Jackal, but, it's hard to compete with a setup that isn't right for the track. So I think he's done pretty all right. As I'm just watching Mozza and Jerabot up the front, they're having an almighty battle for the lead of this race. Mozza just sitting in behind Jerabot. Obviously, they're trying to break that little second gap to Dynasty Sparrow, who is always threatening, always looming in the background there as Sprinter puts in the fastest lap, as he is sitting now in P10, 4 seconds off the back of F7. So, he's making moves. Is he making them quick enough? That's
right. And I do have to say, we do have somebody in the chat who is a very respectable steward saying maybe F7 wasn't up alongside far enough. So we'll find out. Broadsta's saying his goat's leading in Jerabot. So here we go. Now,
Absolutely. F7 side by side with Whiff. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're
Around
okay.
the outside of the long right-hander coming onto the start-finish. Oh, start-finish straight. Looks like he's got that move done. But Whiff looking to take it back around the outside. They are going to go side by side through Cops here. Oh, my goodness. Whiff is maybe driving with a bit of frustration after that earlier incident. But he does make the move stick. Clean racing in the end there. Nice move to take that lead back. And all this is hurting F7 big time. Maybe a bit of team game here from Whiff, keeping the quicker Ferrari behind him, while Dynasty's up the front trying to get his job done.
Yeah, quite possibly. But what I wanted to say is, as we're getting ready to start lap 21 here in Silverstone, it's been a pretty good race. We got a few battles spread out across the track. It's obviously a lot more spread out than the sprint race was. There's no doubt about that. Oh, F7,
Woo!
F7 full send gets it around Whiff. And now he is gone. He is burning.
Yep.
There it is.
He needs to.
He needs to. He's got to catch up to that Reindeer. He's lost about 3 seconds to Reindeer. Reindeer's caught up to Scotty by about 1 second. But driver of the day. Now we have seen an absolute shakeup of the grid as far as the championship goes, right? Driver of the day, give it to me. Chat, what have you got for driver of the day? Throw it down in there. You know, we can cover the sprint race. We can cover this feature race only. Whatever you want to say, throw it in the chat. But Tyrone, who's your pick for driver of the day?
Absolutely. So I think for driver of the weekend,
It's
I've got
good
to be looking at Zonix. I've got to be looking at Whiff. I've got to be looking at Mozza. I think for weekend, if Mozza can take the win here, driver of the weekend will go to Mozza, I think.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Mazza has been the surprise. Mazza did Whiff make a mistake, and Sprinter Giggles has caught up to him. So here we go.
He caught it up, but yeah.
Sprinter's going to try and get this done. He does have the tire advantage on Whiff by 6 laps. He's your championship leader. He is losing out on points right now. He's going to try and get this done. F7's going to try and increase the gap. But we will see what happens moving forward. But yeah, Mazza was going to be my pick. Has chat put anything in? No, thanks for participating, guys. All you got to do is say a name.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Husey,
appreciate your time.
Husey picks up another penalty. Let's just have a quick look at these
Yellow,
penalties.
McLaren round.
Oh, who is it?
Junkyard Doggy in the
Junkyard
gravel, out of
Doggy
Maggots
in
and
the
Beckett's.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a shame. On the fresh tyres, trying
really
to push.
Unfortunate.
May have just caught a bit too much curb, but he'll keep going. Again, I mentioned it last week. He's on the computer now. Still getting used to everything. I don't know if he's got everything optimized 100% yet. I know he lost all his setups and all his settings, so maybe still just finishing off the last couple of touches, because we all know Junkyard has got the pace in him on his day. So I reckon, this isn't the best we've seen from Junkyard. He knows that, but he'll be back, no doubt.
It is a bit of a jump, and one thing that kind of enamors you when you go from console to PC is the graphic quality. Like, for instance, I stream and I play on medium settings, right? I've got a 3070 Ti. It's not the bee's knees, but it gets the job done. But even the graphics on medium far surpass what the consoles do. Like, it blew my mind. I
play it on medium as well, so.
I did for pits and giggles, just throw it on ultra high one time and throw it in a wet weather race.
Yeah.
The what's it called? The water spray that you get.
Oh,
like,
man.
You can't see anything. You cannot see a thing. It does kind of take you a while to get used to. You got to dial those settings in. Make sure that you prioritize frame rate over visuals. That's going to be everything.
It's a hard one. It's a hard one because I want everything to look so pretty. I'm a big pretty man. I love things to look nice. I remember last game I had everything on ultra high and running on 60 frames or so, which is doable, but when you're used to running 165 hertz or whatever, it's a big jump down, isn't it? 100 frames. So
it certainly is.
it's I want it to look pretty. I wish I had the rig to run it all with the max settings and make it all beautiful and pretty. It is what it is. But Bros just said before, in the chat, he said, I can't believe my idols, Jerry Tits and Mozza, fighting for the win. Jerry Tits is a top tier name. I like that. I'm a big fan.
That is so good right there. I like the banter that Lockie's throwing down against Broadstone in the chat as well.
Yep. It's great. Anyway.
Yeah, moving on. Moving on.
Going back to the original question before I get too hooked up on Jerry Tits.
Yeah.
The driver for this race, driver of the race, weekend Mozza, driver of the race, though, it's got to go to Jeribot, I think. He started a little bit low. He's brought it up. He's led from the front now for a while. If he can take this win, you got to be looking at him. But also another one I would say is Ranieri. He started a bit lower than maybe he wanted to. He's had a bit of an unlucky weekend as such, but he's recovered it well, I think. So, that's my other man that I'd look at.
Yeah, I'd say Jerabot is a good shout, and he's also like a rebound, right? So he had the DNF in the sprint, wasn't too happy with the racing room that was or was not there. I can't say one way or the other. And, he didn't let that hold him down. 24 laps, he's only got 2.5 laps to go. And he'll be taking home the win here in Silverstone, which, impressive to say the least. And I feel like the top few, like Jerabot Dynasty, Mazda, Mazda Dynasty and Zonix, they've all just kind of settled.
Yes, absolutely.
The tires are so old that you can't really push. I don't think you're going to be able to make up 6, 7 tenths in 2 laps on 12-lap-old hards. I just feel like they've settled. Like, this is what we're given. But as far as championships go, this is going to be an interesting weekend because we got F7 finishing ahead of Sprinter Giggles. And Sprinter Giggles has the lead, barely.
He was not far off the top there. I think he was only about 14 points off of Sprinter. He's going to have a big jump up. Zonix is another one who's going to have a bit of a jump up. And you know who else is going to have a nice jump up? Mr. Jerabot. Takes 50% of his points from Div 2, brings him across, has a good race win here. Anything's possible. Now, coming up to lap 25, I was just having a look through the top 4 in their battery situation. Mazda seems to be saving that battery up for maybe one big attack on the last lap. So keep your eyes peeled. Don't think this is it quite yet. Anything is possible. Jack was now joined the back of this pack. So who's got the battery? Who's got the tyres? Who's got the confidence to throw a move into these last couple of laps? I think someone's going to.
Oh, I think someone's going to because they want to get on the podium.
Yep.
I think looking at this, I think Jerabot and Mazda, but I have a feeling Zonix is going to throw the move on Dynasty Sparrow. That's just a gut instinct. Zonix has been looking pretty racy through both races. Yep. I think he wants to be on the podium.
Absolutely. The other battle I'm looking at is Scotty and Reindeer. Scotty on those 2 lap older tyres than Ranieri. Ranieri's all over the back of him. There you go. The move's just been made coming into Cops. So, you speak and you shall receive. Scotty tyres look to be really struggling now on that wet setup. It's a shame because he had the pace, I think. But look, he'll still come into this first race here at RMPT and say, look, I think I've had a decent race. There's some good, fast drivers on this grid. So you've got to hang your head high and say, yep, I did what I could. I've had a good weekend.
Yeah.
Oh no,
F7. F7 with the 3-second penalty, which makes him finish behind Sprinter Giggles. So now F7 is just going to try and burn Disco Inferno on the last lap of the race to try and make up a 1.5 seconds on Sprinter Giggles. I don't think it's going to happen. He might be better off trying to give Sprinter a little bit of dirty air and making him pick up another warning, because if I recall correctly, Sprinter Giggles is on his final warning before he catches a penalty.
You are absolutely correct on this final lap in Silverstone. It's been a fantastic night of racing between this and the sprint race. There is still plenty to race for. Mazda now full battery, burning down the Wellington Straight. Doesn't seem to get any closer to Jerabot on this occasion, but Jerabot has about 30% less battery than Mozzarella Fingers. Can he get anything going in towards Cops? Time will tell. Zonix, Jackal and Dynasty all biting at their heels, seeing if any mistakes are there, but it looks like the tyres are screaming for some love, screaming for some fresh, cool air. Jackal's used his battery. I think he's out of contention. It may just be the top 4 here that could change. Still coming now through Cops corner. Everyone kept it nice and clean. Only a second separates the top 3 as we come to the winding S section of Maggots and Beckett's. Dynasty all over the back of Mazda. Mazda all over the back of Jerabot. We come into the final straight now. There's a big battery discrepancy, but I think Jerabot will have enough. Who's going to get now? Is there a move to be made here from any of the top 3? It looks like it might be steady sailing as we come through the long right-hander into the final couple of corners. Dynasty all up on the curb, gets the battery down. Can he get a decent exit? He looks to the inside. It's not on. Everyone's going to have to go single file through the final couple of corners. It's been an absolute ripper of a race from a rebound race here for Jerabot. DNF in the sprint race led here to the line in the feature. Jerabot's your winner here, followed by Mazda, Dynasty and Zonix. Then Jackal rounds out your top 5.
That's it, followed by Prancer, and it looks like, oh, F7, then Scotty. Scotty goes sideways to the line. It looks like it was just trying to get moves done. I don't know if there's going to be an incident report on that one, but looked like, going down the inside of the first, that final turn is always going to catch somebody out. Marzi comes across in P10. Then we got Chi-Dung dropping down with his 10-second penalty. Whiff P12, PS Bomber 13, Spuddy P14, Fish Lips. Not his weekend, that's for sure. Unfortunate for the Alpine driver. With some penalties, dropping down the ranks. Husey comes across the line. Junkyard Dog finishes, but because he was relatively clean, hops up a couple positions.
And his awareness stat on his card, we'll love that.
It will. It will. That's one thing that we do here that no other league I've seen do, are the driver cards. I think that's a really nice touch. And we catch flack for it, but a lot of people do enjoy it. It's just a little bit of added flavor. Don't give no heat to the people that do it. We work hard to make this place entertaining for you. So there we go. There's your podium celebration. Now your driver of the day is, the game's not going to tell me, Marzi. Fastest lap also set by Marzi. Ranieri with the most overtakes. Cleanest driver was Zonix, and Jerabot was your race winner. We've already gone over the grid, but there it is again. We'll just gloss over this one. And if you want to go ahead and tag those guys and get them in the comms box, that would be fantastic.
All
Tyrone.
over it, don't you worry, my friend. So hopefully they get in with a bit of pace. We can get these interviews underway, have a cheeky gas bag,
That's
and
right.
see what was going through the brains of these boys up the front. Because, look, none of them started. Only one started in the top three. It was only Jerabot who started on the front row. Mozza and Dynasty have both come from a few rows back. So some fantastic racing from the lads in the top three there.
Yeah, certainly was. And, a bit of a longer night tonight because we got the sprint weekend. So we'll try and motor through these. We'll only go over the race wins. But, sprint race was Zonic Sprinter, and, I missed it. It was too slow. I realized what
Sprinter,
I had on
Zonix, and who was, I'm trying to think,
Was
it
it
might have
Dynasty?
been Millerfingers again. Or was it Dynasty?
I think it was Dynasty.
I think it might have been one of these boys who was P3 in the sprint as well. So, look, Racing League Tools will tell all.
You know what? And if it doesn't, I took screenshots just to be sure, because reasons.
Happy days. Happy
That's
days. Come
All
on,
right.
Jerry. We're waiting on you, mate. Well, I suppose P3 is here in Mr. One-Eyed Willie Dynasty. Would you like to lead it off, Mr. Thunder?
Yeah, I will, mate. I will. Dynasty, how you going, man? Long time no chat. This time I'm on the other end, talking to you from the comms box. Fantastic race today, mate.
Yeah, thanks, mate. It was good. Good racecraft, which was really good to see. Yeah, really good battling on track as well.
Okay. So how did you... so your first race at Ramped, so welcome, and, congratulations on the podium. P3, you got to be pretty wrapped with that. So wet quali hit. What was the first thing that went through your mind?
I actually quite enjoy the wet, so it didn't really bother me. Same with the dry. I was probably running higher wings. I don't know if you guys could tell in the comms box. My exit speeds were pretty good. It's just the straight line. I lacked the speed, so a lot of times I could not overtake, obviously, any of the front boys. So that's why I couldn't make the moves there. But no, it was excellent, to be honest. A lot better than some other leagues with the racecraft, which is really good to see. And yeah, really good battling on track.
That's awesome, man. That's really good feedback. Thank you so much for that. As far as your wings go, yeah, we could definitely see that. Like, there was one time when you were trailing behind Sprinter Giggles, and you could tell he had much lower wings than you. You would catch him on every turn, but when it came to the straights, he'd put the foot down, and he could just pull away that little bit. But at the end of the day, mate, you had a fantastic drive. Sprint race went pretty good. Now, I've just got one final question before I throw you over to Tyrone. Rumor has it, I've heard you might be looking for a full-time seat.
Yeah, potentially. If there is one going, I'll definitely take one. I'm available Thursday night, so that's a bonus as well. But yeah, got double podium, so I can't complain about that. Help the V-Cubs out a bit.
That's it. All right, well, I'll pass you over to Tyrone, and there you go.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for the comms.
Thank you.
Mr. Dynasty, it's a pleasure to meet you, first of all. I've never spoken to you one-on-one, which is always a nice opportunity to meet someone new. So, as Thunder said, first race here at RMPT, fantastic result. Put your name on the map, mate. Just run me through what was going through your mind for those last couple of laps, because it was tight between the top five, and we're wondering, is someone going to try something sneaky here?
Look, like if they had a moment in front, I would have tried it out of the corner. I just knew I could not get it on the straight. So as I made majority of my moves were either heading out of sector 1 into sector 2. I believe I went side by side with Marzi, which was very good. But yeah, it's just I knew my straight line was not going to cut it. So it was a matter of just securing as much or as good points as I can get for the V carbs, and P3 for both races was pretty decent. So yeah.
Absolutely, mate. Double podium's nothing to turn the nose up at. So, and last question for you, mate, is those tyres. I was having a look through a lot of the drivers, and it looked like there was a bit of a struggle street for the majority of the grid. Was there a bit of tyre saving going through on without that stint, or was it sort of just pushing with the grid or the group you had around you?
Not for me. I could have pushed probably another 6, 7 laps on the tyres I was on. My tyre wear was pretty low compared to some, so yeah, I just felt they were still had a really good grip. It was just a matter of saving the battery and trying to catch the front pack, which I did end up doing toward the end. But yeah, as I said, it was just a matter of keeping it clean, tidy, and giving the space when required.
Fantastic, mate. It was fantastic to see you on track. Nice racing, mate, and congrats on the double podium and the P3 in the feature, mate. Well done.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for the comms.
All right, now we're going to head over to P2, and he was our comms driver of the weekend. Mozzarella Fingers, P2. You know, I remember talking to you before this race. You were playing Roblox, trying to stay calm. Didn't put any practice into Silverstone. And here you are, and you've had a cracking weekend. So how do you feel about that?
Honestly, in the race, I just got lucky. Sprinter went for an audacious dive on Jerobot. Corner was already over. Had a bit of a spin. Got past him. That was fun. Sticking behind I could never get past Jerobot. His wings were way too low for me. I was running 16.9, so I was quick through sector 2 slightly, but I also had enough downforce to kind of keep up with him without using all my battery.
And
Tough.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Like Jerobot, we saw, and it felt like with about 8 laps to go, maybe 6 laps to go, I feel like the top few just kind of settled. Like, this is it. We're just on a tire saving mission. Keep it clean. If somebody makes a mistake, we're going to be able to capitalize on it, but we don't have the tire wear or the ability to push past the guy in front of us. Is that how you were feeling towards the end?
Honestly, I don't know what the word tire saving means. I on a controller, tire saving is like a gift if you even are able to receive it, which is yeah, it's a bit tough. I got it in the end. I got P6. Then I saw rain in qualifying and just went yes, because so everyone did their laps in qualifying. They did all their laps. They did two tires. I just stayed out on one set, got all my laps done. Congrats to Scotty on pole and Jerobot on P2, and just Jerobot was able to come through in the end and take the win off me by 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, and
A win's
you
a
know,
win.
it was oh,
Shut up, Jerobot.
hey. No, it was a really great race, Mozzarella, and you know, awesome drive by you. Really unfortunate to see, you know, your teammate and person battling for the championship, you know, send it. Look, I don't want to say one way or the other, but it was unfortunate to see the incident happen on track. But we'll let the stewards decide if it were to come to that. But I think once replays are viewed, maybe won't be so bad. But yeah, congratulations on your P2. You're a driver of the weekend as far as comms go. And Tyrone, what have you got for cheese fingers?
We're getting way too used to talking to this bloke in the comms box after races, I fear. It seems to be a very weekly tradition at this point, but it's a credit to your ability, mate. So well done again on another great weekend. Cheeky PT if you're in the feature. This is going to make your run at the championship lead a real spicy one, mate. You were sitting in P4 before, about 14 points off the lead. You're going to cut that down by a healthy margin, you and Zonix. So I suppose, what's your mindset now going into the next two races, knowing that this is on?
Well, I see the 100%. I see Spa. I'm just like, yeah, that's all right. And then I see Coda, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna die, because I hate Coda coming up. My run is just about over now. First three races were great. Back three, not my finest. If it's wet, you'll see me on in the podium if I don't die. But yeah, other than that, I don't see myself getting another podium for the rest of the season.
It's a mental game, mate. You never quite know. A bit of practice here and there, you might find yourself in a spot you didn't quite expect, just like tonight, mate. So, but I suppose going into those last couple of laps, was there ever a point? So you had a lot more battery than Jerry up front. Was there ever a point you thought, you know what? Let's just see if I can scare him out of something here. Just throw a little fake one up the inside and see how he reacts.
There was one point where coming out of cops, I was 2 tenths behind him, and I was like, "This is the time I get past him right here, right now." And then I'm fucked up maggots and beckons. Oops.
Good catch. Nice try, mate.
Yeah,
listen,
I ruined it, and because the dirty air, I went way too wide on the outside of the final one uh, before the straight, and I was just like, that was my only chance. That's gone now. My tire wear, I think I had like 20% more on my tires than Jerry did, so my tires were absolutely fried, screaming, and yeah, it just congrats to Jerry then.
yeah, look, he's put in a great race, has the old Jerry Bot, which we're about to get to. But, mate, P2, fantastic race. Once again, it is on. Don't put yourself out quite yet. You never quite know what happens. F1's a weird, weird sport. So, well done, mate, and keep heads up high.
Cheers, lads, for comms. I will look back at it later.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
mate.
All right, now we're going to head over to P1. Now, P1, it needs to be said again, loud for the people at the back, was a Division 2 driver. He put his hand up, said, you know what, I've turned the assists off. I want to be moved up. And we moved him up. We decided to give him half of his points that he earned. And he was able to keep his Division 1 points. And now he is on the top step of the podium. He took on Comms last week in Brazil. Jerabot, winner of the race. Sprint didn't quite go your way. So what were you thinking about on that lonely 15-minute wait for the race to start?
I think I was like, it's still sunlight out. Do I bail and go for a run?
Oh,
Or do I just, you know what, let's reset the mind and, didn't miss out on too many points. It's time to just go again. And I'm glad I did.
yeah, and that was something that, it is one of those things. It can be really disheartening when you DNF on like lap 1, lap 2 on a sprint weekend. You've got to sit there and watch the next, 10 laps or so unfold, and you kind of got to reset. Now, as a driver coach yourself, because I know you do that for a few drivers, did you make the right call for those drivers that were watching you race?
Yeah, definitely. I think something that's hard is like, when you get involved in an incident, even if you manage to keep it on track, it's hard to get back in the headspace. I think everyone sort of struggles with that or blows up or whatever. But I'd say I'm a fair bit older than some of the guys on the grid, and I still struggle with it. Even though it's a game, and we know it's a game, you want to, absolutely like murder the guy who you think tapped you until you rewatch it. But we're all human. I think that's what makes it more fun, more competitive. But at the end of the day, we're here to have fun. And actually, tonight's race was a bit boring. There's a lot of tire saving, a lot of just pace management. There was a point I noticed Mozza had no pressure on him at all, so I kind of like slowed back a little bit just to get that little, I think it was like P3, P4, P5, like to catch right up and put a
So
bit of
that's
pressure
why
on
you
him.
went so slow.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, I want to get Mozza to have a bit of pressure. He'll be less likely to make a move on me if he's got people behind him and the move doesn't go well.
There it is.
So it
Mate,
was,
I was shoving you.
There's the
400
dirty
race
tactics we
IQ.
may have spoke about during the call. It was just the wrong driver, but we did actually call that out for a few tactic reasons. But no, it was a fantastic drive, and it was a really good mental bounce back. And like as a mentor to a few drivers on the grid, maybe not this grid, but other grids, I think you made the right call. And as a former team principal myself, 100% the right call. You got to refocus and get your head back in the game, and you proved what you can do when you're able to sit down and do that. So Tyrone, what have you got for our new Div 1 P1?
Just like that, a new enemy enters the frame. I think that's going to put you in a pretty good spot in the championship race here, mate. So I suppose 2 rounds to go. We got 100% are up in the last race, of course, but Coda next week.
Love Spa. But yeah, I think
Yeah,
everyone's like, ooh, Coda.
yeah,
I do enjoy racing it. I'm just not good at it. But it's one of the like funner tracks. I think you got a bit of everything. But it's real. I don't know. I really struggle there. Like to keep consistency. But we got a whole week off to practice, so we'll see what we can do.
absolutely, mate. So, look, anything is possible now. It's really opened the door for you. But I suppose those last couple of laps, you said tyre saving and obviously just working Mozza back into that pack behind, which is, playing chess while the kids are playing checkers, so to say. Look, did you think when you moved up to Div 1, obviously you did the reserve race in Jeddah and said, look, this is where I want to be. I want the challenge. Did you ever think that, yep, I'm just going to go out and take a win on my Div 1
Nah,
full-time
no
debut?
way. No way. There's a lot of guys like really quick, like VRB really quick, Renieri really quick, Mozza, Sprinter, like all these guys are, people that I sort of see they're like sort of better pace than me. But yeah, like even when I got like the rain quality, I would have loved to have known how I would have stacked up in the dry. I don't think it would have been the same, but sort of played into my favor a little bit. Um, we'll have to find out next week. If that's
Absolutely.
it.
Look,
Yeah.
every sport has a bit of luck involved as well, mate. But I don't think there was a lot of luck in that one. That was a lot of skill and a lot of drive, mate. So really good week
Thank you guys.
of
Thank you.
racing. Nice race in the feature to take P1, mate. So take that momentum into the next 2 rounds, and you never quite know what might happen after the final lap of Spa, mate. So well done.
Thank you.
All
Mr.
right, I'll
Thunder,
talk.
do you
Yep,
want to
all
sign us
right,
off?
it is what
Yep.
it is. Well, Tyrone, man, that was a cracking night for racing. Between the sprint and the full race, we saw a little bit of everything. We saw all the different kinds of weather. The pouring cats and dogs during quali really shook up the grid, and it really changed the tone for what was going to be, I think, a normal race that we would have seen, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. The weather change just really throws the spanner in there for any driver. It's such a different time to race in the wet than it is the dry. Same with qualifying. You've got to take 2 completely different strategies into it. So those drivers who can adapt come out on top, and those who are a bit stubborn in their ways, will say, they struggle a little bit more. And, today saw some really big shake-ups in the championship, saw big shake-ups in the race, and it was definitely a fantastic race to watch from our end.
Yeah, the results are going to be pretty interesting to check out the championship after this. But next week we head over to the Circuit of the Americas in Kota. As Jerabot said, it is a tricky track. You've got the tight Santa S's, you've got the long straights that go downhill into the tightest left-hander at the end. It's going to have a little bit of everything. Championship is going to be pretty much on the line for the top 5, I would say, at this point. So it's going to be elbows out, or you could say guns a-blazing, as we head to Texas. And with that, that brings us to the end of the night. So thank you for watching RMPT F1. And don't forget, mental health matters, physical health matters, you matter. And at the end of the day, if you need to reach out to somebody, just take that step. You can do it. You'll be overwhelmed with the support you receive. Thank you for watching, and have a good night.